Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at DynastyDad FF and joined as always by my main man at FFSnoog. And today we got a fun show lined up for you. You know, this class has been a very important class at Smash Accept, a class that we've been hyping up a lot. I think it has not disappointed. And what we would really like to do is take the time and go over and redo this rookie class and redo the way that we would draft it if we were coming out today. Snoog, this is a difficult process because some guys have catapulted up. A couple of other guys have underperformed. You could see one boom week and someone would move up. But I think this will really go over our process, why we chose players where we did, and why we might have missed on a couple players.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I mean, pat ourselves on the back for gassing up this rookie class because nobody wanted anything to do with this class all offseason. And it finally came around. We were taking discounts on a lot of these guys. We said it was an elite tight end class. We said it was an elite running back class. Both of those are looking damn well true. And this wide receiver class we are higher on than most. Said that it had 3 or 4 studs in it. Guess what? It has 3 or 4 studs in it. So I'm excited to jump into this one. Talk about this landscape because right now, Dad, 8 weeks in, it's looking damn good for the first round of these players. And there's a lot of players that are coming out of the woodwork starting to really ball out and make a name for themselves.
So the 101 is still Ashton Jeanty for me. I think the gap really closed. I mean, there was a time where you could have got the 102 and 105. Imagine coming away with Emeka Egbuka and Quinshon Judkins just for Ashton Jeanty. And I think the process that I really have to highlight here is we always talk about insulating off of picks. We always talk about that the 101 is worth more than 30 to 50% more than the 102. Next year with Jeremiah Love, it's going to be worth considerably more. So, I think what we got to look at as far as the principle goes is Ashton Jeanty has been good. The offensive line, the coaching, the system has not. He leads the league in broken tackles. He's looked really sharp at times. He's looked like he's swarmed and been hit behind the line nonstop. I still think talent-wise, he's my RB4 in Dynasty. I think you guys got to go check out our last show where we did our running back rankings. This class is loaded with running backs. He's still the biggest piece for me, but most people will still have him as that 101, but the 102 is real close. A lot of sites have the 102, worth more than the 101. In rookie drafts, you and I had, and this is what we got to talk about a little bit, Tetairoa McMillan, Omarion Hampton, we were in that area, had them and in that 102 section. There were other guys that flirted there. Ultimately now, you can't even argue against Emeka Egbuka. I know he had a down week against the Saints there, but that was because the defense scored so much. This is a very elite level prospect as far as, Dynasty goes. If you're drafting today, though, he's got to be the 102, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was averaging 18-plus points per game before the injury. He's Baker Mayfield's locked and loaded wide receiver 1 for the future, 23 years old. He was literally 2 bad throws away from having another 25 to 30 bomb against Detroit. 2 big touchdowns on elite routes ran by him. He's a stud, and everyone's saying, oh, well, look now, the past 3 weeks, he's had less than 10 points in all 3 games. So, dude, he left the game 50% of snaps with a hamstring injury. Everyone thought he was going to miss 4 weeks. He's been playing through that injury, wrapping his leg, still going out there like a warrior. He was a big Detroit game away from everybody wiping that off their, agenda and just being like, yeah, this dude is really him. He's averaging 15-plus points per game right now, even with the 3 games injured after that. He's a stud. He's going to have 1,010-plus TDs this year as a rookie, tied to Baker Mayfield long-term. I think this is a big tier right now with a lot of guys you could argue, but we know how Dynasty treats their wide receivers, and what Emeka is doing, he's only going to get better and better as Baker Mayfield's wide receiver 1 for the future. So sign me up all day for him here. We know how the Dynasty community treats young stud wide receivers, and he's getting that treatment.
Right now, I have him as a top 8 Dynasty wide receiver. He's skyrocketed up. So if you drafted him at 107, good for you. Round of applause. Yep. You killed it. My question for you is, during the rookie draft process, we would not have advocated trading. You were big on Travis Hunter. He went in this 102, 103 range. You could have gotten Emeka in a first for Travis Hunter. At this point, would you trade Emeka for Travis in a first?
Yes, if it's a 27 first. Yeah, I think the Travis Hunter breakout is here to stay. I think he's an absolute stud. We saw the talent. We saw what he can do.
That's what we preach, right? this is what we preach at Smash Accept is in the rookie draft, you could have been at 103 and moved back from 103 to 107 or 108 and got a first.
I did it.
And now you could do the opposite and get it back. And I think that's really the biggest thing when you look at these drafts is, okay, this made sense at the time, but moving back always makes sense. 103, he was my 102, 99% of the process. Omarion Hampton, when he got his starts, he did not disappoint. I would still take him at the 103. I think when it's all said and done, I think he could possibly pass Emeka in value when he comes back. This guy has looked fantastic. This offense for the Chargers with, Madison Beers has made the Chargers an elite level offense. Oh, no, that's Justin Herbert. But still, like this offense looks really good. When he comes back, I think he's a guy that has 20 touchdown upside, not this year, but in the future. And I think he is right now, my Dynasty RB5. I think he's a set it and forget it RB1 in Dynasty. And again, why you and I really hyped this class up is the rookie running backs are fantastic and the rookie values maintained. I say he's the 103. It would have been in this class. He's right underneath Jeremiah Love for the 101 next year and above the 102 next year for me for sure. So I think that just gives you a perspective of what the next year's class looks like versus this one. Hampton's been great. Judkins has been a major surprise, right? Not to us personally, but way that he's bounced back, going from, in that 105 range for us, then the looming suspension, all the negative things, moving all the way back down in the draft. A lot of people were buying on the cheap. Now all of a sudden, he's back in that 104 range. Like he's someone that you were higher on than most. You and I had him in 2023 as our 2025 RB1 overall, and as the 101. So he's been a guy that you and I both been on. Shame on me for selling during, we always say we're buying guys when we have that negative turnaround. I was a little bit scared. You were not. Judkins is the man.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, he's a guy that since 2022, I've been watching him. Like, I can't wait till this guy comes out of school. Like, he's an absolute stud. He's a 3-down workhorse. He's Josh Jacobs. He's a Joe Mixon plus type of player to me. He got the draft capital, 36 overall, run-heavy offensive scheme. They got no damn quarterback, and this guy's out there averaging 92 rushing yards a game in games where he plays over 50% of snaps. He's had 4 phenomenal games that absolutely blew the doors off the hinges. He was a big touchdown pulled away from him in Minnesota from having like 3 straight 20-plus point games with 50-plus yard touchdowns. Like, he's as expected. He's as advertised. 21 years old. He's got the draft capital. He's got the situation tied to Stefanski. It can only get better from here, right? Like Hampton has the situation and the skill set. Judkins has the skill set, and he's making the most out of a bad situation. They get a QB over there in Cleveland with that defense and that run game and that offensive line. Things are going to get real scary over there. So he's my guy here that I love. I've been drafting him all over in the offseason, taking advantage of that suspension. Him and Egbuka are 2 guys that I thought towards the end, I was helping people get them in every single rookie draft that we were doing in the Discord. We were doing on Twitter. It was like you could get Judkins at 112 and Emeka Egbuka at 107. It was like stealing candy from a baby. So absolute stud, top 5 to 6 dynasty running back as well for me and Judkins.
Yeah, and I think the one that Quinshon Judkins was your biggest hit for sure. He's been him and Emeka, great hits for you. The next 2 guys are the guys that are later that I hit on. It's like Tyler Warren. A lot of people were pushing him down. They hated that Colts landing spot and moved him down to 110, 111, 112. Tyler Warren is the 105 in this class. And in tight end premium, if this is 0.75, you could argue at the 103. You really can, because depending how you play Dynasty, but he's the Dynasty tight end 3. And it's not particularly close. This is someone that you are getting phenomenal production from. You're getting the touchdowns. Daniel Jones has made this offense viable. And again, how much a rookie draft can change things is, I think if Anthony Richardson's the quarterback, it's a different story, right? But the writing was on the wall with Daniel Jones. He was someone that, we pushed up boards. He's my most owned Dynasty tight end now. I was trading late 27 first plus a Evan Ingram type. I was trading 26 first straight up to try to get into drafts. I drafted him everywhere I could. I got insane amounts of shares of Tyler Warren, and I'm thankful every single day. That's been one. The other one that I think you really hit on early in the process, you said, this guy's going to be good. He could be a round 1 quarterback, and someone that in when it came to rookie drafts, I was pushing up like crazy. He was someone that I've drafted everywhere at 112, right? You were moving up. We talked about he was going to be this year's Bo Nix. He's better, right? Like we were talking about how he's going to get disrespected and moved into that 112 to 202 range. Now all of a sudden, this guy's arguably worth 2 firsts or more the way he's played without real wide receivers.
23 points per game through his first 5 starts, Dad, without Malik Neighbors. Imagine what it's going to be like with Malik Neighbors next year, with a healthy Cam Skattebo, with more weapons that they bring in for him. Jaxson Dart is here to stay. Brian Dabble is probably here to stay as well, what he's doing with this team. He just never had the options and the weapons and the skill set. He finally does, right? He finally has that dual threat QB that he loves to play with, like he did with Josh Allen back in Buffalo when he was the OC there. He has that Russian gunslinger now. Jaxson Dart, 22 years old. Get this guy, a veteran wide receiver 1 next year to pair up with Neighbors and to pair up with Cam Skattebo, build a more offensive line through the draft, and I think he's going to really take off. I mean, he's on that top 15 to 12 Dynasty QB range, top 10 for a lot of people right now, and he's someone that's here to stay, in my opinion. Gunslinger, you're right. We were high on him. When I watched his tape, I saw something unique. Like I saw, he wasn't like Ward or Shedeur Sanders early on in the process. He was just so like mobile and dynamic, and I think he had a lot of it factor in his game. That's what I saw. That's why I was always like, this guy's a first-round pick. Like this seems like a no-brainer to me. He went way later than I thought. I thought he was a top 10 pick, but he's definitely worth that pick. The Giants got their guy for the future.
All right, the next one here, and I am not down on this prospect at all. He's my Dynasty wide receiver 13. I could see having him in your top 12. A lot of people really are starting to sour on Tetairoa McMillan, and I say go buy him now. This guy is on pace for 79 receptions, 1,088 receiving yards, and just 4 touchdowns. The 4 touchdowns is the problem, right? But you saw what he's been able to do the last couple of weeks. Bryce Young is really holding him back. I wanted to see the next evolution of Bryce Young to be really support Tetairoa McMillan, but he is getting separation. He's getting open. I just think we're having a time where you could buy him and you could buy Travis Hunter. Both of these guys were arguably the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 of this class. And Emeka, we thought, landed in a situation that was not as good, right? I want you real quick to hit on what, through that process, what we've learned, because we looked at it saying, oh, well, Mike Evans is there. Didn't pay attention to, he's 32. We said Chris Godwin's going to come back. We said, Jalen McMillan was there. Tetairoa and Travis have a clearer path. Is that something we missed in the process, or is that just a real fortuitous series of events that have pushed Emeka up there? Because we had all 3 in the same tier, but now Emeka is clearly worth more.
Yeah, I always said that I think that Emeka has a real good chance at just ending up being the wide receiver 1. He was just the most pro-ready out of any 3 of them. He had the best situation out of any 3 of them as well. That matters, right? Especially for year 1 and these rookies, like being the most pro-ready, like Ohio State is just pumping out those wide receiver 1s. I think Travis Hunter is a guy that long-term has the highest upside and best skill set to be good in fantasy of the 3 of them. I just think he was always going to be a longer-term play, because it's like with him, they're trying to figure out what he's really good at, where he can kind of max out and place from a snap percentage perspective. He's 78% of snaps in week 7, 87% of snaps this past week. He's the guy. Like, he looks better than Brian Thomas Jr. And I know it's like crazy to say, because we love Brian Thomas Jr. We loved what he was last year, but Travis Hunter looks
They're talking
better.
About trading him. Do it.
Please. It's like,
get him out of there.
He just looks better. He's separating at a high level. His release, everything package off the line of scrimmage is really good right now. He's catching everything. He's mossing people. He's turning 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls. Like, get this guy 9 to 10 targets a game. They're finally letting him win downfield. Not this gadget bullshit that they were using him at the beginning. Like, no, use that and get him downfield, because he's a real playmaker. He's still one of the best talents in this draft class from a rookie's perspective, in my opinion. I just hate the damn Jaguars and Shane Waldron, which is why he's bumped down here a bit, but I think he's going to start bouncing back.
Get him targets, and let's get TreVeyon Henderson the ball. TreVeyon Henderson this past week looked really good, 80-plus rushing yards. He's someone that has a ton of upside, or 80-plus total yards. Ton of upside. It's just this offense seems like they're just trying to hold him back or keep him as a secret weapon. We talked about him being Jahmyr Gibbs light. Like now he's like the Timu version of Jahmyr Gibbs is what they've shown us, but he has the talent. He's a major buy for me in Dynasty. And Snoog, this class is fantastic. The fact that we're talking about guys that were our 103, 104, and 105 are now our 107, 108, and 109, and all three of them are screaming buys. I love Tet. I love Travis. I love TreVeyon still. I think go out there and get all three of those T's. The triple T's are the way to go. The guy that would have clearly been arguably above, Henderson and maybe Hunter and possibly even McMillan. He's been an insane but major injury coming up here for Cam Skattebo. Brought tears to my eyes, but he has been everything that we anticipated and that you and I, since February, right? That's been the biggest thing is we've hyped these guys up since February. Skattebo's been the real deal.
Yeah, he was averaging 17 plus points per game before this injury. If you account for the injury, I think he played less than 50% of snaps. 127.70 divided by 17 or 7.5 was like 17 plus points per game. Like this guy's a legit dynamic pass catcher. The burst, the patience, the vision between the tackles will run through your face. He was my David Montgomery of this class coming out. He was one of my favorite players to watch from a film perspective at the running back position. Just a guy, his metrics, his everything was screaming off the charts. If you watch college football last year, he was the reason Arizona State was where they were, why they were doing so well in the playoffs, and why they almost upset Texas in the playoffs. This dude put that team on his back and carried them, just like he was doing with the Giants this year. I'm a little bit worried about the injury, but I'm buying everywhere. He's finally attainable now. Like you don't have to give a first plus. On rebuilds, go take 2 seconds and see if you can buy low on him. If you have a Kamara, if you have a, Dave Montgomery, if you have a Travis Etienne, one of those guys, take them in a second and go get Skattebo. Contenders are probably panicking now, right? Because they had this guy in their lineup. Now they're like, shit, now I don't have a guy. This is your time. Take Christian McCaffrey if you're a pretender and you're kind of sitting in the middle of the pack and go get Scatty in a first. Take McCaffrey in a second, get Scatty in a 27 first, right? This is when you insulate with these type of guys. Cam Skattebo was robbed of an injury. If he didn't get hurt, I think he was going to finish as a top 10 running back this year.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I had him top 12 rest of the season before this injury. And I think if you take a late 26 first and you throw on someone that could put up some points, not maybe not ETN, but a guy that's going to be in that early RB2 range that people could get excited about, I think you could really buy him on the cheap. I think you go out there, you offer Jalen Warren in a late first, and you go get Cam Skattebo and you get yourself ready for next year. A guy I went through, and I'm in 22 leagues, and 32% of my leagues I drafted Tyler Warren, and 32% of my leagues, Snoog, I came away with Oronde Gadsden, and he was someone we did our tight end show. I was like 975 yards in college. People are sleeping on this guy. This is someone that I'm going to pick up everywhere. I drafted in round 4. I picked up with Fab. I added everywhere. And I could not have anticipated this, though. Like Justin Herbert effect has been phenomenal for Oronde Gadsden. The last 2 weeks, he's the tight end 1. Like he's been that good. I think you have a spot here where I want to talk about him versus the next guy, Colston Loveland. We had in this similar area, 110 to 112. I can't put Loveland above Gadsden, even though, I think Loveland is the better talent. He's getting it done. The opportunity's there. Caleb is not getting it done for Loveland. Loveland got the start this week, 5 points. Gadsden got the start, and he put up 34. I just can't do it right now. But, the dynasty in me trying to figure out a way to get Loveland from Gadsden. And I don't anticipate Gadsden being a top 5 dynasty tight end like a lot of people do. But I do think the value is skyrocketed. And for every Puka Nacua that we've gotten cheap and sold high on, there are 99 other guys that have we drafted in round 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden they popped off and we got a first.
Mark
Gadsden is going. He is going for a 27 first right now. I've seen multiple trades in the Discord get that kind of price.
Yeah, here's Colston Loveland, right? Top 10 draft capital, stud coming out of Michigan, checks a lot of boxes from a production standpoint, skill set perspective. He's that new age Tyler Warren, Tucker Kraft, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers style of player, the way he wins. George Kittle did nothing his rookie year. Tucker Kraft did nothing in his rookie year. I don't know why I keep calling him Tyler McBride, but Trey McBride did nothing his rookie year, right? Colston Loveland is in that trajectory for me. Like, not every tight end does well their rookie year. It's always the way I look at it is if they're balling out, you adjust, you boost them up, right? But just because they're not balling out, you can't just give up on a player after 8 weeks in their rookie season. Like there's a lot. He was injured, and then Caleb Williams isn't playing good, and there's a bunch of mouths to feed. Like for every JSN, Roma Dunze, all these guys people gave up on, Trey McBride, like these tight ends as well. Like you just can't, man. Like you got to hold on. This is when you start buying these studs. You know, your Colston Lovelands, your RJ Harveys, your Luther Burdens, the guys that were projected to be studs that haven't yet done it but have flashed. Now you buy into him. And for me, Loveland, Ben Johnson clearly loves this guy. He's all over him. He's blocking at an outstanding level, running through people, sealing blocks on the edge. And he's looked real smooth catching the football. So I really think his time's coming very soon, probably next year when they get rid of DJ Moore and Cole Kmet's kind of falling out the door. But it's going to come soon.
I love messages like this from Troy. I got Hampton, Emeka, and Judkins. Thanks for all the help, guys. Before we move into round 2, I got to talk about this because, you know, a lot of you guys are new to the Smash Accept content. Patreon.com/Smash Accept gets you my rankings, Snoog's rankings. Not just if you're really a dynasty head, it'll be good through the rest of the season. And then you're going to get yourself into a, you know, spot where you're going to smash your rookie drafts. You're going to come February. You're going to be that much more prepared because you're going to be way higher on guys like Emeka, like Warren, like this, you know, this class that's just absolutely loaded. You're going to pass on some of these guys where Snoog and I said, do not draft Cam Ward, do not draft these guys. A guy that I'm excited for the second half of the season, Snoog, is this guy here who I would take at the 201. That's RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey shot up all the way up to, say, 108 in a lot of rookie drafts. I left with a lot of shares. I still love what I'm seeing. I mean, this past week, 30-plus fantasy points on 6 touches. He has tons of upside, tons of, you know, explosiveness. I think this guy really could be a league winner down the stretch. I think him and Henderson both are, if I'm stashing anybody in redraft, if I'm taking risks on insulating, I want these 2 guys. I think both of them have tremendous upside at the running back position. Moving on to the 202. Another guy in this tight end class that we talked about was so good. Right now, Snoog, 4th in targets, 4th in receptions, 7th in receiving yards, top 6 in fantasy. Harold Fannin Jr. has been everything that we've wanted Colston Loveland to be, but you got him in the 3rd round.
Dynasty, he was my tight end 3 in this class from a film perspective. I 100%. For sure thought he was going to be a 2nd round pick. Like his profile was outstanding. He literally had like 170 yards and 10 catches against Penn State on Bowling Green. Like he was the reason why this team was even in any games with players. Did outstanding against Texas A&M as well. Like he was the real deal coming out from a film perspective. The NFL seemed to kind of shy away from him, like, you know, after the combine and after he wasn't this outstanding athlete that they thought he was. But I had him comp to a better Jonnu Smith, and I really love that comp because he can do a lot of the things that most tight ends can't. Like he's very versatile. He's kind of like an Evan Ingram too, just bigger bodied and a little bit more powerful, but he's just your pure receiving tight end. He's going to get the job done. They don't really have any weapons or options there. He's the guy. Like he's their number 1 target in the passing game. Get this guy a quarterback that's actually competent, and he's going to take the next step. Him, Gadsden, Loveland, Tyler Warren, all top 9 dynasty wide or tight ends for me right now on the landscape, Dad. I think you could safely say this class is on par to be the best tight end class in the past, you know, 5 to 10 plus years that I've seen personally as a rookie tight end class, because it's looking really damn good right now.
I'm with you. And it was a down quarterback class. I mean, I ended up with 0 shares of Cam Ward. You ended up with 0 shares of Cam Ward.
Yep.
I traded multiple different times when it was on the clock for a 27 first plus something. Snoog, any guess on where he ranks right now in fantasy points per game among quarterbacks?
37.
38. Very good. Very good.
Wow.
QB 38 behind Russell Wilson, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, Geno Smith,
So bad,
Joe
dude.
Flacco. The only other starter below him right now is Dylan Gabriel, like in fantasy points per game. That's disgusting because you were taking a lot of people in the industry were really putting Cam Ward at 102, 104, 105. We had him ranked in that 107 range and ultimately was probably a little high there. But I think 203, I think I would take an opportunity to try to buy into Cam Ward on the cheap now, but I think we avoided a major pitfall there. And part of your rookie dynasty success in your rookie drafts is avoiding potential landmines, picking up guys that, you know, are going to be sleepers like some of these other guys later, and just making sure you don't take Cam Ward in your draft, or trading back from 108 to Cam Ward to getting to a guy that was going at 202. Now he's 204, but arguably looks like the next Amon-Ra St. Brown for a Ben Johnson offense.
Yeah, Luther Burden been hyper efficient with 3+ yards per run throughout his rookie year. This is a guy that just needs more opportunities, man. Like, Rome Odunze is the clear guy there, but Luther is damn near the number 2 guy there for me. I think him and Colston Loveland are the guys with Rome long term. Those three, it's going to be a 3-headed monster. Wide receiver room there. They're all going to dominate. They all do different things well, which I think they all complement each other extremely well with Ben Johnson's system. I think Caleb Williams, he's going through growing pains first year in a system that is kind of playing outside of his comfort level. I think he's only going to get better from here on out. I think Luther's only going to get more opportunities from here on out. Second-round draft pick. I had a first-round grade on him. I thought he was much better than a second-round pick, but definitely a guy, elite yak player, powerful after the catch, strong hands, wins in space. Yet that Amon-Ra St. Brown skill set that Ben Johnson kind of needs in his offense. And I think that he's really going to elevate his game. Still 21, 22 years old. Just a great buy low, especially as a rebuilder. I've been telling all the rebuilders in the Discord, go get Luther Burden, insulate off, some of these older guys, AJ Browns, Nico Collins, get Luther in a first or Luther in some picks back. It's a good way to kind of get the rebuild kick started.
This one's disappointing to me. Round 1 draft capital to the Packers, wide open wide receiver room. Christian Watson was out. Jaden Reed was out. And Romeo Doubs led the show, other players there. I mean, Matthew Golden went round 1 for a reason, but it hasn't clicked yet for whatever reason with Jordan Love. It just isn't there. I have no problem re-rolling the dice here with a mid-second. He was going for a late first. In this class, there's a lot of guys that I'd consider taking here over him. But I think at the 205, it's still good value because the next couple of guys are running backs that, again, we talked about this class being so deep at the running back position. And then in rounds 3 and 4, we were taking shots on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Woody Marks, Brashard Smith, Kyle Monangai. Guys, some of them are going to really win leagues down the stretch because they're going to put up really solid points. Ultimately, at the 206, you're going with Bill here.
Yeah, I mean, he's the starter in Washington for the year. 7th-round pick. It seems like the game's not really slowed down for him between the tackles, like his reads. Everything just seems like he's a little bit raw still. I think he's going to have a second year kind of breakout, or even latter half of the first year for him. He's going to start putting things together when Jaden's back and the offense is kind of back to normal. But, I mean, he can catch the ball well. He's got good vision. He can make people miss. Just a solid back overall, top 25 dynasty running back for me at the 206. I feel like this is good value to put him. I don't think he's as good as everyone was kind of hyping him up to be before he got the start. I don't think he was ever this superstar level running back, but I did think he was a competent starter that can catch the ball well and be, a top 25 guy in dynasty. So there he is.
The next guy for me is Woody Marks at the 207. If you had told me that Woody Marks was a borderline, he was in that RB3 range, but he only had 9 receptions on the year, I would be like, this doesn't make any sense. This offense needs to get him more involved in the passing game. He's been very explosive, but he's not a run between the tackles kind of guy. I mean, you look at him right now, he has 152 rushing yards on 46 carries, but only 14 targets and 116 yards. That's crazy to me. Like, this offense needs playmakers. They have Woody Marks, but for some reason are not getting him involved in the screen game. The offense is getting better. I think down the stretch, we're going to see him get more and more involved in the passing game and really be a solid producer right now. I mean, I like him in this spot. The next guy we loved during the process, unfortunately, he put himself in the doghouse.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson, I mean, he was a guy that during college football was just looking like an absolute monster. He was carrying that Iowa offense. Once I got to the film with him, it was just like, you could tell it was kind of not fluky, but you could just definitely tell he was not on the same level as TreVeyon, Omarion, Jeanty, Judkins, and some of these other guys like that. But I still think, I mean, he's 22 years old. Mike Tomlin raved about him all offseason. He's a 3-down guy to him. He's a big bruiser. He's 6'1", 225. He has the production. He has the zone run scheme skill set. I think he's going to be a year 2 or year 3 breakout. We saw guys like James Conner, Aaron Jones do absolutely nothing as rookies. We saw Rashad White and some of these other guys as well not truly break out until year 2 or year 3. I think Caleb Johnson's going to be on that trajectory. I don't think he's dead yet, the age. He still has talent. He's still powerful. He runs through people. I still think he's worthy of being in this conversation with these guys. That's why I have him here. 22 years old, tied to Mike Tomlin. He's damn near undefeated with drafting day 2 running backs and having them be somewhat good at some point in time.
It's crazy to see Kenneth Gainwell getting more carries than Caleb Johnson. I just can't believe it, but they're behind the times. Bashal Tutin's my 209 here, and I think Bashal Tutin has shown some flash. So at 4.1 yards per carry, he's looked good at times. I think ultimately what you're trying to buy here is, and I know everybody wanted him to be Liam Cohen's new Bucky Irving, and we haven't seen that yet. He's not that, but he could very well be the starter in 2026 with Travis Etienne likely on the move. I see him have a lot of upside in this offense, so I have no problem here at the 209, re-rolling here and getting that. The next guy I love, I mean, this was a tight end that I love. This tight end class is so good. But Mason Taylor was one that you and I both really, really like the tape, like what we saw. And he has not disappointed. I mean, he's put up some pretty solid fantasy production points over the last 3 to 4 weeks. He's looked like the guy that we thought he was going to be.
Tight end 4 for me pre-draft, right behind Fannin. Tight end 3 for me post-draft with the draft capital and the situation. I mean, he's the clear-cut number 2 in New York right now. He's been having good games. He's been flashing. He's a great talent. I think that he's going to be a good long-term play. I think we have 5 or 6 tight ends in this rookie class that are like here to stay, like top 10 to 12 guys for a long time. Like we got some really good talents here. Mason Taylor is one of them. Anytime you get a situation where you're, a top 2 target on a team and you're the tight end, that's all you really need if you have the skill set, which he does. All we need is Fields to continue to target him or that offense to take the next step. I think we're seeing the absolute rock bottom of this Jets offense right now. So I'm excited for Mason Taylor being 21, 22 years old for the future.
I like Jaden Higgins here at 211. He's been the biggest, aside from Caleb Johnson, he's been the biggest faller out of our rookie drafts. He was going 203, 204. Now he's going 211. But I think it's real quick. I mean, this past week he finished the wide receiver 24. I think there's a lot of upside there to be the wide receiver 2 in Houston. Jalen Noel has been solid, but I think Jaden Higgins could be a guy that pops off. Someone that popped off in weeks 2, 3, 4. Torrey Horton has really looked the part as the wide receiver 2 for Seattle.
Yeah, I think long-term he's going to cement himself in that just guaranteed getting offensive snaps, playing behind Jackson Smith and Jigba, being that guy. Believe it or not, in the rookie draft guide, I actually had a lot of good things to say about him. He was separating. He was catching the ball well out of Colorado State. He's actually been a player that he was supposed to come out last year, and it was anytime I watched Colorado and they played Colorado State, all you heard was Torrey Horton. He was just a guy that was always balling out there. So I think he's good. He can separate. He can win at the next level. He can win at all 3 levels as well, which is what you really want to see. He's just a team player. He's good in special teams. Just a good player to take shots on right now. Jalen Noel is another guy we can throw in this conversation that's fighting his way up. That's looked really well for the Texans.
Well, even Tez Johnson. I mean, this class is 40 deep.
I forgot about him.
I
would have put him in here.
I know.
Damn.
We got Tez Johnson's looked really good. There are some handcuff guys that we're really interested in, like your Brashard Smiths, your DJ Giddens, Kyle Monangai. No, I got you. I mean, this class is good. Ollie Gordon, we didn't put on this list. Trey Harris potentially is an injury away from looking good. Elijah Arroyo's been fine. You look at Dylan Sampson. He looked really good in the beginning of the year. Dylan Gabriel didn't make the list. Jalen Milroe, with the way Sam Darnold has played, looks like he might be dipping down. Jadon Blue is not on here. I mean, we talk about the 3rd round could still be really good in your rookie drafts because Shador Sanders might get some play. Pat Bryant, I love this class in general. We talked about it being deep. Next year's class is not. If you have a 26th third and you can go ahead and try to kick the tires and get one of these guys, go ahead and do it. I mean, even a Terrence Ferguson is part of this vaulted, tight end class that we really like. So we just wanted to bring this at you guys, show you a little bit different side of what we do, be honest with some of the hits that we had, some of the misses that we had, why we did it that way. If you guys are interested in a Dynasty podcast, a Dynasty Discord that is going to bring you a different process, right? We're not just here to say, this is what it is, this is what you do. We're going to bring you processes on how to rebuild, how to trade, how to draft. Patreon.com/SmashAccept. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the process.